YouTube. Make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe down below. Welcome back to my video, and let's get started with this one. So I know in my last video I gave you guys a lot of a chit chat, up to date on how like my job search has been going. So I'm gonna give you guys a little fast forward. So after going on a couple of the job searches, one school has in particular reached out to me, guys. Yes, a school has reached out to me about 10-15 minutes away from my house. I'm going to tell you guys how the interview went, how the demo lesson went, and all of that sort. So they ended up reaching out to me. They wanted me to come in for an interview. I was nervous, but I was ready. I had worked on my portfolio, and I was still continuing to build it up more to my stature where I wanted it to be. So I went in for the interview. It was 5 people who was on the interview panel. 2 of them were paraprofessionals. One of the teachers was like a kindergarten teacher, kindergarten or first, I'm not sure. And it was the principal and the assistant principal. So they asked me a lot of questions, gave me a scenario-based type question, which I felt like to me, I felt like I answered the question the best way that I could. But, of course, the teacher that was on the panel didn't feel like, I don't know if, like, she didn't feel like, but to me, it came off like she didn't really like my answer. So I'm going to tell you what the scenario was. So the scenario was, like, let's say a boy or girl is like, basically it's time to go home and that student has the iPad, and what if the student is acting up and she doesn't want to go home, and the kids are in the midst of packing up lineup, and I have this one kid in particular that is still on the iPad and playing. So my answer was, if I was ever in a situation like that and I'm applying for an ICT, integrated co-teaching position, I said it's going to be 2 teachers. I said, so I would just have one teacher, the gen ed teacher, take half of the class, leave one student with me because I can't be alone with the student by myself, and, you know, talk to the little girl, him or her, and say, well, maybe tomorrow you can try to go on the iPad, but right now we're in a situation where we have to go home. We'll see how tomorrow goes, and, you know, kind of use it as a reward. That's how I would do it. But in my head, I'm thinking, first of all, who would give a child an iPad at the end of the day? Like, you're already asking you're asking for trouble. Like, I don't want trouble. I want to go. So that was my response, and I said, well, if it's me alone, well, I'm gonna have to bribe her with that and say maybe tomorrow you get it, and she's gonna have to walk the front of the line with me so we can get out. So the teacher was like, oh, well, then if she cries like that and she acts like that, and you give her the iPad, and then she's all of a sudden you're rewarding her for her behavior because now she gets to walk in front of the line. The other kids are gonna think that, well, if they do that, they can walk in front. They can get special reward by walking in front of the line, and that's a privilege. So in my head, I'm like thinking, sometimes when it comes to kids, you gotta pick your battles, okay? And if it's me alone, listen here. If I don't bring her to the front, what you think she's gonna do if I leave her in the back? She's gonna run off the line. She's gonna run somewhere, and it's gonna be me alone with 25 kids. And you think I have time to go run after her while I have the other kids? I'm gonna just need people to be realistic. Like, let's be realistic, people. Like, I felt like it was a good scenario, but it's like, come on, I'm not going BS and I'm not going to lie about it. If I'm in a situation like that, sweetie, you're going to walk in the front with me. I'm going to hold your hand. You're going out with me together, and you're going to stay right next to me while the other kids are waiting to get picked up from their loved ones. Like, really? Other than that, I wasn't nervous. I felt very comfortable with the panel. I did use my portfolio to answer some questions. They did ask me about applied behavior analysis, like how would I use ABA, or for kids who might need a reward system. So I was able to show them like a chart and things that I would kind of incorporate. I talked to them about like involving the parents, and if, like, you know, the child does not have the family support at home in regards to rewards. You know, me and my co-teacher who will be working with me, we will come up with something together that he or she would like. So that was like the only kind of like, I would say, like special ed question that they kind of asked me. But other than that, the interview went really well. I felt like it was really fast. Um, like I said, I had already sat down with the principal beforehand when I was doing the job fair and I was visiting around the school. So I was fortunate to get that opportunity to talk to her for about maybe, about 5 minutes. Um, so after the interview, the principal said, "Well, we need you to come in and do a demo lesson." So I had to pick a date to do my demo lesson, and of course, the day when I had picked to do my demo lesson on that day, I realized that when I came home, that that particular day that I was supposed to do my demo lesson, June 7th, the kids were going to be out of school because it was a holiday here in New York City. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't do my demo lesson that day. So like I quickly tried to reach out to the school the next day to let them know, like, hey, I won't be able to do that day. So anyway, I can reschedule, get another day because the kids weren't in. So I had to, it was kind of like the waiting game. And then the secretary had thought that she had sent me an email, but she really didn't. So I was able to go the next day, I think. I think I had scheduled it for the 8th. I did my demo lesson in first grade. The kids were very receptive, really sweet kids. Two people observed me for my demo lesson. It was another teacher that wasn't there when I had my first interview. It's probably another teacher who's on the hiring committee, and it was another lady. I'm not sure like who she was, but she was somebody else who was also on the hiring committee. So only two people watched me, and my demo lesson went really good. I was very confident. It was the same demo lesson that if you look back in my last video that I was telling you guys that was the one that I was gonna do. The book that I chose for the read aloud, I did Caps for Sale. I felt like that book, Caps for Sale, went perfect with the lesson that I was doing from the Reading Strategies book. So if you haven't seen that video, like definitely go back and look at it. So after I did my demo lesson, they asked me to go back into the office and just sit for a couple of minutes. And, you know, at that point, like, I was at ease. I just felt so comfortable. Like, I was not nervous. Like, I guess the night before, like, I was rehearsing in front of my mirror right here. Like, I just kept, like, going, like, thinking of questions that I'm going to ask, making sure, like, there's accountable talk. Like, if students disagreed with something, you know, how can I, you know, bring on that conversation where, you know, all the kids are being heard. So I was, like, really practicing, like, really hard the night before to the point where I was just like, Shantae, you don't want to overdo it, like, relax. So I did it about 3 times in front of the mirror, and then I was like, okay, that's it. But I went in, like, really confident, and I just zoned them out, and I was just straight, like, into the kids. So after that, I sat for a little bit, and then they called me into the room, and they told me some things that they really enjoyed about my lesson. They said that the students was very engaged. They can see my classroom management because I taught them, when I was doing my lesson, I taught them a little bit of how I do my turn-in talks. And it was like I introduced my turn-in talk, and when they were talking, how I wanted to get their attention. When I wanted them to stop turn-in talking, I would do this. So whenever I did this, they knew that it was time to stop talking with their partner and, like, come back, crisscross applesauce their legs, look at me, and then I was going to call students to share what was something they discussed with their partner. So they really liked that. The kids was really into this. Like, they started doing it after after a while. And yeah, I felt like the demo lesson went really great. They asked me, I had already prepared like 2 of my 5 demo lessons I already had it typed up, so the minute whoever was in, I just passed it on. And I had on the back of it like a notes section where they took notes. When I say they took notes from the top of the page all the way to the bottom of the page. So they were really taking like a lot of notes on things that they really, really liked. And one of the teachers was like, she's really confident in me. Like, she feels like I'm very good with the kids. They were very engaged. She said it was a very well planned out lesson, like from beginning to end. And she basically said like she's confident that I was gonna get it, and that really kind of got my hopes up a little. So I was like, okay, like thank you. And then another lady who was also in there with me, she gave me also phenomenal feedback. And she basically told me like she doesn't know like the availability in regards to grades, because they're in the process of still trying to figure that out. So I said, okay, no problem. So they said that she'll give me a call back and whatever, and we'll see, they'll let me know what the next step is going to be. So that next 2 days after that, I got an email saying that the assistant principal and the principal would like to sit down and talk to me. So I'm like, okay, if I'm sitting down with the assistant principal and the principal, I definitely got this position in the bag. So unfortunately, it has been really hard for me to kind of set up a time to meet with the principal and the assistant principal right now, because it is so close to school being over. In New York City, we have about 7 days left, and right now it's very hectic because, teachers are at meetings, the principal's at meetings, graduation is going on, prom, little stuff that is going on is getting close to the end of the school year. And also with me, I'm trying to get as much sub assignments as possible before the school year ends on the 26th. So even sometimes like they might want me to meet with them, I can't, because I've already made a commitment to go to a school, and then for me to cancel last minute, it doesn't. So it's just been a lot of issuing with scheduling. So I have not met with them yet, but I'm hoping to meet with them hopefully next week. I'm hoping to meet with them. Tomorrow is a holiday. It's a Islamic holiday tomorrow, so the kids don't have any school tomorrow, Friday. So I'm hoping that next week, it'll be a full week next week. I'm hoping to meet with them next week. And yeah, so that's my little update, guys. Let me know what you guys think, because I'm thinking, because somebody else that I know, they was like, if they're asking you to come in and sit with the principal and the assistant principal, they're like, you definitely got the job. So I'm praying that's it. If I do get this job, I will be saying yes to it, but I am also applying to other jobs. I'm trying to see how much offers I can get before July actually starts. That's my goal. I've been applying to other schools as well in other areas. I've also been applying to brand new schools that are going to currently be opening up September, and they're looking for a whole, brand new staff, and you're kind of building up with the school as well. So I've been looking into schools like that. But any job that I get offered right now, I'm going to say yes. And based on how many offers that I do get, I'm just going to pick, choose, and refuse. And whichever one I feel like is the best fit for me, that is the school that I am going to go with. But I don't want to close a door on one and I might not get the others. I at least want to have something set that if I don't get the rest of these, I know I have one job in particular that it's a definite yes. So you always want to have that in mind, because it can go anyway. But other than that, guys, I've just been trying to finish out the school year. For those of you who are finished school, like, kudos to you guys. You guys were out early. We're still here in New York. We still have a couple more days, 7 more days. And yeah, so I just want to give you guys that update. If you guys watched my last video, has anybody else, any new teachers, how's the job search been for you? What is it like? Leave it down below, because I'm sure any new teachers who are about to go into their first year would like to know. And I look forward to talking to you guys again in my next video. Bye, guys.